I've heard that from
We don't, we need our administration.
council meeting for October the 11th, 2017 to order. I'd like to confirm the agenda, so we'll start and see whether or not there's any changes to the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll call the council meeting for October the 11th, 2017 to order, and I need to confirm the agenda, and I'll start with Councillor Sobel, if I may.
Nothing, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Blokland?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I have a question, but I don't know where it would go.
Well, we have something that we're going to be putting under 6.3, so in administration, so if we have questions, we can just slot it in there if that's okay with you.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Walsh?
Nothing, thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Peterson?
Your Worship, I have something as well regarding Strathmore Municipal Library.
Okay, and I'll leave that to administration to be able to slot in where they want that to go. Because I think that's more of a question situation at this point.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Fuel?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Graychuk?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. And administration?
Yes, Your Worship, we have one addition under 6. If we can put 6.1 as Hillview Ball Fields.
6.1?
Yep. And then 6.1, 2, and 3 will be renumbered accordingly. And if we can add 6.4, then questions to administration.
Okay, and the only other item is we'll put it under delegation. They're not going to be a delegation, but we have received a letter from the Ag Society, so if we could put that under 3.2. Thank you. I'll take a motion to accept the agenda as amended. Councillor Walsh.
Your Worship, I wish to make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. First item on our agenda is delegation and growing families. If you'd like to come forward and...
Could I just, Your Worship, introduce and...
Yes, by all means, please. Yes.
Hello?
Yep.
Your Worship, Council, we were very proud today, Strathmore FCSS, to present a check of $15,000 to the Growing Families Society. As you're probably aware, this society provides many very valuable programs to the residents of Strathmore. And in particular, this $15,000 for 2017 is to assist the society in 3 of their programs. And I'll just very briefly go through it. Growing Opportunities Life Skills Program. This program offers in-house support for expecting and new parents, specifically young women under the age of 19, to assist with counseling, nutrition, emotional support, education, and access to resources needed. Second program is Bridging the Gap. This program engages seniors and members of the community to volunteer their life skills, knowledge, and experience back into the community. And the third program that we're assisting with the funding is 5 for Life. 5 for Life is an early childhood collaboration with community groups and agencies working towards providing children under the age of 5 the opportunity to develop their potential. Council, and here today we have the president of the Growing Family Society, Margot Sevic, and Dr. Allison Clark, who I believe is on the board of the society. So, Your Honor, Your Worship, Council. And unfortunately, our check presentation was locked up in the vault. So thanks to Jen, we've compromised with a certificate for $15,000. And so I think you would like to come forward and present this to me.
I'd like all council to come forward, please.
I haven't got a good side to turn around.
Councillor Peterson?
Thank you, Worship. I just had a few questions, just to refresh my memory more than anything. So I'm really grateful that you're here and grateful that you're still doing all the good early intervention work that you're doing. How does this compare to funding that you've had for the last few years?
From the town?
Yes.
We really need May because.
It's okay. It's
Yeah,
not a
I
fair
can't
question.
answer that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's good, and I just thank you. I really appreciate the work you do. Councillor Graychuk and I were at Five for Life the other day, and the last time you held it was really enlightening.
So, yeah, you guys did the
Yeah.
historical tours. That's
Well, we were at Brentwood when you did Five for Life as well, so it was wonderful. But
Awesome.
really appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Saves a lot of money. I think Mr. Simpson has something to add, maybe.
Go ahead, sir.
I'd just like to add, and certainly these ladies are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, and I mentioned it to them that later on in the agenda, I will be presenting an agreement that we've negotiated with the societies for the next 3 years, funding for the next 3 years, which creates some stability for them and also for the town as far as budgeting in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. No further questions? Just on behalf of council, thank you for what you do in our community. You make our community that much stronger, and especially to the people that need that extra little bit of assistance. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the Ag Society. They were unable to make it, but they did send a letter, and I will read the letter in part, and it's to Strathmore, town of Strathmore. On behalf of Strathmore District Agricultural Society and its Board of Directors, please accept my appreciation for the kind agreement of the Town of Strathmore Council to increase the sponsorship of the town in Strathmore Stampede and Heritage Days. The sponsorship increment contributed significantly to our ability to be able to hold the event. As you know, in 2017, Strathmore District Ag Society made a fundamental change to the organizational structure with respect to the manner in which the pro rodeo and chuck wagon racing is planned and produced. This, linked to internal spending controls for the event, have led to an updated product as well as other efficiencies. The model, as well as lessons learned, will be applied to other aspects of our organization and business lines. We have received many compliments about the quality of the rodeo and wagon racing event this year, as well as other elements of the program on that weekend, including the fair program in the Heritage Zone and the excellent condition of the grounds. The comments provide encouragement for our ambition that the site be thought of as a year-round park for the enjoyment of patrons within the town, neighboring communities, and visitors from further afield. Another accolade has just been brought to our attention. The World Professional Chuck Wagon Association, the sport governing body that we contract to provide wagon racing entertainment, has just recently announced that they have named Strathmore as the 2017 Racing Event of the Year. This is a superlative outcome for the efforts of our Rodeo and Chuck Wagon Advisory Committee and the team that produced the event, and of the quality of the individuals involved. The award will be bestowed Saturday, October 14th at the WPCA Awards Banquet in Calgary. As a result of the positive metrics of the rodeo weekend in 2017, we are pleased to advise that the Ag Society Board of Directors has announced that planning has begun for 2018. The Board of Directors has also ratified the advisory committee structure that was adopted in 2017 to plan and deliver the event. So thank you to the Ag Society for sending us this letter and giving us an update in regards to their success this year. Thank you, and congratulations. Next item on our agenda is confirmation of the minutes of the September 13, 2017 Committee of the Whole. We have a motion to accept the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of September 13th. All in favor? Carried. And so then my next question is, do you want to go into Committee of the Whole at this point in regards to the items under items for administration? Okay, I'll take a
Worship, I move
motion.
to go into the committee of the whole.
Thank you. We have a motion to go into Committee of the Whole. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. First item on the agenda is 6.1 Hillview, and who will be speaking to that? Thank you. You have the floor, sir.
Good evening, Council. I am here to acknowledge the work that's being done on Hillview, as well as to provide you with information around the communication strategy that has taken place and is still provided to all of the residents of Strathmore, and primarily and specifically the Hillview residents that are directly involved and engaged with the project. I'll go just a short way back. The project started, prior to the project starting, we identified key individuals and put out information to the area residents, 53 residents in total that were immediately adjacent to or across the road from the Hillview Park. After that information went out and the delivery of that, hand delivery of that information, individuals in the area self-identified as wanting to have more information and be part of the conversation. I met with those individuals in mid-June on a Saturday morning, as well as Trevor Jensen, the representative from Minor Ball, and we had a conversation. We did some blue skying and big hand, small map on in the area, and had a conversation with the residents that were there. And at that point in time, I had committed to continue to converse with any one of those people on a regular basis for updates. There were only a handful of residents that chose to continue to be updated. The remainder did not continue or request additional information, and I provided my card should they have any questions during the project. Ongoing conversations were continued with both the three organizations, soccer, minor soccer, and the ball group. And from the ball group tonight, I have Trevor Jensen here. Should you have any questions of minor ball? And we continued up until this last week, where it was felt that there was an update that was required. And so an update went out to the residents, hand delivered again. Thank you to the pool staff who have done this now 3 times, counting today, and hand delivered the messages on Friday. And subsequent to the Friday, there was information that came out on Facebook and to some of you as council, and we also provided additional information to clarify and answer any of the questions that were identified. And once again, it was hand-delivered to all of the area residents, as well as provided to you as council. Briefly, that has been the communication strategy from start to finish on this project. I do want to highlight, though, all of the projects from the day of their inception, the Canada 150 page that identified the projects has had significant detail and Q&As right from the beginning, when we anticipated some of the questions prior to the project starting. So that information, direction of residents to that information, has been there since the beginning, and it has been updated on a weekly basis based on the information that we've received or direction. So.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Deputy Mayor Graychuk.
Could you refresh my memory again? How much grant money was there from 150? Or was there grant money towards that diamond?
Not specifically towards those diamonds. It was a 150 project that was funded.
And was it 150,000 or?
No, the project is $337,000.
Right, no, but the total 150 was, how much was the grant money? Does anybody remember?
Are you talking about the 150 grant money that we
Yes.
got for the refrigeration unit at the arena?
Yeah.
Because that's what we
The
got.
total amount?
Yeah.
$450,000.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
No further questions?
I do have Trevor here from Minor Ball, if you have any questions for Minor Ball.
I think we're all looking forward to next summer when they can start using those diamonds, so.
Yeah, it will be the end of the summer, because it's going to take a whole year for the grass to catch and be ready. Soccer might have a fall classic, but I think as far as the organized ball is concerned, we're looking at a spring 2019 opportunity. And we're working collectively towards that to have all of the things in place for a good ball field and a good ball season.
Good, thank you. Councilor Fuel.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a question through the chair to Trevor, since you're here with representing Minor Ball. Just a couple of things. Is Minor Ball content, happy with what's being done in Hillview? And will it help you as far as the number of teams and things that you've been trying to accommodate on your other diamonds?
Yeah, everything that we've discussed to date is happening or is going through. It would be nice, I read something today that it will be fenced in to U14 standards, which will help out greatly. We travel Monday, Wednesdays for mosquito, peewee, and fastball out to Lyalta and use their facilities. And then Tuesday, Thursdays, we're either in Cheadle or Carsland for the Bantams midgets. So our kids are traveling all over. Karen Hill, we utilize that diamond as well this year. So our the diamonds are full in Strathmore. So Monday to Thursday between us and slow pitch, the diamonds are full. We utilize the school diamonds Monday to Thursday. I don't know if you've seen the school diamonds. They're in rough shape. So we spend a lot of time as an organization trying to make it safe for our kids to play ball. And we do that on our own, volunteer stuff like that. And now that Cheadle's done, I don't know if you guys have seen Cheadle Diamond, that sure adds a good value in the ball in this town. It allowed us to host provincials here, August long weekend for the Bantams.
Sorry, if I could follow up, Trevor, while we have you here and you're able to speak in front of us, what's needed in your idea as far as minor ball? I know you and I ran into each other July 1st at Kinsman Diamond. What are your thoughts regarding that?
So if we could add another Bantam midget diamond, so a 300-foot fence, 90-foot infield, another one of those, as well as a minimum of 2 or 3 250-foot diamonds. That the 250-foot diamond is what Hillview will be, and that will be 340 of the kids will be allowed to play on that diamond. That'll fit them. 340 out of 410. It'll just be the midgets that won't be able to play on that diamond. It'll just be too small. They have 2 diamonds that they can use now that'll cover their needs. But we've grown, since I've been on the board, baseball board, in 4 years, I think we've grown over 100 kids. Some nights, Monday nights and Wednesday nights, 3 of the Ag Diamonds have 3 teams playing on them, practicing on them.
Do you think Kinsman Diamond itself needs to be improved?
Yeah, we would like to see it. It's a nice diamond. We always get compliments, teams from out of town. They come and they like to play ball and sit in the grass. But it's time that it needs a little bit of refurbishing, yes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the 3-year funding agreement for growing families. Mr. Simpson, you have the floor again.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council. Our recommendation tonight is Council approve the 3-year memorandum of funding agreement between the town and the Growing Family Society as we're presenting tonight. It's a 3-year agreement starting in 2018 at $20,800. It was a 4% increase. Well, actually, it was more than 4%. It was $15,000, as we just mentioned, for 2017. We added another $5,000 at their request for a couple of the programs to assist with covering their expenses, which brought it up to $20,000. We added 4% to that to make it $20,800. And then in 2019 and 2020, we added another 3% to assist them with their costs. So the background on this, Strathmore FCSS was directed to begin negotiation with the Growing Family Society to establish a 3-year funding agreement that would provide some long-term sustainable funding, some certainty to their programs, and also, as I mentioned earlier, some certainty, I guess, to our budget, the town's budget too. I don't think I'll run through the 3 programs that we're funding because I did that a little earlier. Hopefully that's okay. But I did want to just also add if you look at the agreement, the society, for the money that we're giving them, they're to provide that service under those 3 programs. And also in return, they're to provide us with most recent board-approved annual financial review, most recent budget and business plan, and a summary of each program's activities outlining the success, participation, challenges that they face. I think this is, this provides the town with some certainty that the funding is being used in the way that we've agreed to do it. And it allows the Growing Family Society to come forward each year and make a presentation, which I think, from what I have heard from various people, I think what they're doing and the programs that they're running are extremely valuable to our residents, but probably most of our residents don't even understand what the services are. So when they come forward every year, I think it's an opportunity for them to blow their horn and show council what they've done in the past year and what they plan to do in the future year. So, Your Worship, Council, with that, I put forward that recommendation.
Thank you very much.
If there are any questions, I will try to answer it, or I have these 2 lovely ladies to help me answer it.
Questions? Councillor Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. I appreciate the presentation and the organization in it. My question is, in terms of the funding that's been allotted, this is coming from the town contribution portion to
It's-
FCSS?
Good question. I know it's coming out of the FCSS budget, which is made up of
Yeah.
both the town and, as you know.
And the provincial budget.
provincial
yes,
budget.
Yes,
Kind of stumped me on that one.
that's all right. That's something that can be dealt with by a new council in the fall in terms of planning.
I would think it would be eligible for the provincial grant.
Because this is what my question is with regards to, so I guess I would step back and I have a unique, have had a unique opportunity in my life in the community to see firsthand the good work that you just described, and so I'm a huge proponent of it. But I guess my question then is, depending on which bank that comes from, would determine their eligibility for additional funding to grow the program commensurate with population growth, particularly in that youth category, into the future. That's what I'm wondering. So that's something that they should be really aware of, that there would still be additional opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question. Yeah.
We'd like to see it grow.
Yes.
Just want to give them some stability.
And I really appreciate the certainty. I think that's one of the best things that I've ever seen happen for their sake, but,
Yeah, definitely we'd like to see more, because they're good for them.
yeah, they certainly are. And thank you, Jim, and my next question, Your Worship, for the comfort of the people here today, is it reasonable to rise and report now to make this motion?
Make a motion that we rise and report then?
So I so move, Your Worship.
We have a motion to rise and report on this issue. All in favor? Carried. Councillor Sobel?
Well, I just had a comment,
Go ahead.
Your Worship. And I also, as Councillor Graychuk and Councillor Peterson have experienced the Five for Life event when it takes place, the early childhood collaboration. And I guess the only comment I want to make is what impressed me the most out of this thing was I was there towards the end of the event, and it was the reaction of the parents who were walking around almost dumbfounded because they could not believe what they had just gone through. So congrats to you guys. It's an amazing event, and I really would encourage everyone to, with small children, to look into this program a little bit more. It's clearly a very valuable part of our community, so thanks.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sobel. Councillor Peterson?
Your Worship, I would move that council approve the 3-year memorandum of funding agreement between the town and Growing Family Society as presented here. If I may speak briefly to the
Please.
motion. I will speak briefly just to say that Growing Families has been an incredible addition to community. I could keep council here till this time tomorrow, telling stories of their success, firsthand knowledge that I have of the success of young parents who have had this safety net woven underneath them to hold them up and bring them to a place where their lives are thriving today. But I won't. So thank you, Your Worship, and thank you for the work on the file.
You're definitely good, though.
Thank you very much, Councillor Peterson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. My next is a question to administration. Do we actually have to do a motion to go back in committee of the whole now? Thank you. Thank you. We have a motion to go back into committee of the whole. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. And then, next item on our agenda is the solid waste contract. Councillor Walls?
Has left the building.
Councillor Walls has left because of a possible conflict or a bias. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Worship and Council. On September 20th, Council approved myself, the Director, to enter into negotiation for an automatic curb solid waste and organics collection and disposal agreement with the preferred value-based selection proponent, H&H Huckstedts Enterprise Limited, for $3,591,362.44 plus GST, with the intent for myself to bring forth an agreement for Council to approve in October of 2017. The town and H&H Huckstedts have completed successfully discussions regarding the solid waste agreement and have agreed in principle in the provisions of providing an automatic services as defined in the RFP. Infrastructure and Development Services are requesting authorization to execute the contract so that the education, awareness, and communication plan commence immediately. The council contractor also requires lead time for purchasing the equipment and allocated staff in order to fulfill the requirements of the service commencing on January 1st, 2018. So the motion would be the council authorize the mayor and CAO to execute a contract for automatic curbside solid waste and organics collection and disposal with H&H Huckstedts Enterprises for 5 years term for a price based on the RFP TOS 2017-4301 submitted for the $3,591,362.44 plus GST, which is approximately $718,272 per annum, and for the funds to be drawn from the 2018 operating budget for the first and supplementary years as well. Any questions?
Questions? Councillor Peterson?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just had one question. I know that when this was discussed in council, we talked about a 5-year term with an option, and I'm sure that's still on the table, just not necessarily put into this. Is that correct?
The contract actually includes a allowance for us to add 2 12-month extensions to the contract. However, the $3.5 million only covers for the 5 years.
I understand that,
So that's why we didn't put the contract could be extended up to 7 years from the 5.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you. Councillor Sobel?
Thank you. Excuse me, I just to avoid confusion here, I just want to clarify the last sentence of the discussion portion, which states, in order to fulfill the requirements of the service commencing January 1st, 2018. That service you're talking about is actually the curbside solid waste and not the organics collection, correct?
That is correct.
Just wanted to make sure that was clearer than mud. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sobel. Any further questions?
Your Worship, I would move that, oh, Rocky's on the question. Sorry, I didn't see your light.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through the chair to Mark, going back to that last line in the discussion paper you just talked about, being the middle of October, is the contractor able to be ready for this January 1st?
Yes, we can be, if we do it now.
If this gets done ASAP?
Yep.
That was my question.
Thank you very much, Councillor Blokman. Councillor Peterson,
I'd move to rise and report, your worship.
we have a motion to rise and report. All in favor? Carried. Councillor Fuel.
And your worship, I would move that council authorize the mayor and CAO to execute a contract for automated curbside solid waste and organics collection and disposal with H&H Huckstead Enterprises for a 5-year term for a price based on the RFP TOS 2017-43-01 submission, $3,591,362.44 plus GST, approximately $718,272 per annum, and for the funds to be drawn from the 2018 operating budget.
And from budgets in successive years.
And budgets in successive years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Fuel. Discussion. Seeing none, I do have a question in regards to confirming that we will be able to have this as of January 1. And I do know that there was, and it may have been said, more than likely was said with a smile, that it should have been done a week ago. But as long as we do it within the next few days, we will be okay in regards to this contract.
I believe so. Yes.
We will be okay. Thank you very
The
much.
carts are scheduled to be here November 1st, the beginning of November, that first week in November. So we'll have the carts here, and it's a matter of us getting the communication education plan rolling and out to get into one of the big ones is going into our utility bills, and the other one is for the contractor to get the staff in order and to purchase new equipment for the automatic.
That's all.
A few minor things.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Graychuck?
Thank you, your worship. So does that mean that you can sign, the contractor will be ready to sign within the next 2 days or 1 day or 24 hours or? Because they need to get this done.
Yes.
So you can be signing it right away. Thank you.
So we have a motion. No further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, sir. And we can have Councillor Walz come back. Please show that Councillor Walz has returned.
Your worship, I would move that we go into committee of the whole.
Thank you very much. We have a motion to go in committee of the whole. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And thank you, Councillor Walz. Next item on our agenda is the Human Resources Plan update. And sir, you have the floor. Oh, we get pictures?
Yeah, John, just turn on.
Take the responsibility.
There we go. Perfect. Great. So, Your Worship, Council, just wanted to provide a progress report on the Human Resources Plan that we were tasked with. And I'm happy to report that we are mostly complete that plan at this point. So we just have 2 areas that require additional work, and that is the occupational health and safety component and the performance management component. So these 2 areas require more time to implement because they do require some foundational work that we're doing currently, as well as some technological tools that we're also working on implementing. So I just want to highlight some of the major achievements to date that we have accomplished. So one of those is bringing on an occupational health and safety advisor who started with us in September. So that resource has been instrumental in terms of working with across the corporation, identifying some of the hazards and some of the practices and updating the protocols. The other piece is that we've contracted with CorePoint, who will be providing us with occupational health and safety management system. So this is an online tool. It will provide us with the ability to have all employees access occupational health and safety manuals, to do incident reporting, and to track everything through that in terms of where we're at with any deficiencies and so forth. So we're working on the configuration of that system currently, and we'll have a planned launch date for implementation, go live of November 1. And as I mentioned, all of our manuals and operating procedures will be available in the cloud. So all employees will be able to access that, whether they're working in a facility or whether they're out in the field, because it is a mobile enabled tool. Performance management, major achievements in this space that we had is that we have selected a vendor, CRG Perform. So we're ready for acquisition and implementation of that. This tool links to our existing Microsoft Dynamics platform, which is a huge win for us. And this tool will enable performance reviews. It will enable us to use succession management, employee engagement functionality, recognition, as well as compensation planning in the future, and it is goal and development focused. So we're looking at implementation for 2018 of that tool. And there's a question.
Yes, please, Councillor Peterson.
Is that okay if I can wait?
Absolutely.
So when we talk about the M-Perform program, is it available for use to other organizations within the town? So, you know, organizations that are linked to ours through relationship. So I'm thinking at the front end, I'm thinking about library, FCSS is under the town, youth clubs under the town, but I'm thinking more about those associations that are, thank you, that's all right.
Yeah, we'll have a number of licenses, and we can just look at what you're thinking around that. But we could definitely, there's no limit to who we use it for. We just have to look at our licensing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then pay and benefits. Some of the major achievements to date is that we have developed a job, family, and broadband classification system, which is ready for implementation in January. All of our jobs have been benchmarked against the National Occupation Classification System, which is the federal program. And that provides us with ease in terms of replying to surveys, and also when we look at the positions that we have, is a really strong benchmark for them. We have implemented a long-term disability provider who provides a benefit past age 65. And that was, as you know, one of the major challenges that we had with our old provider. We've also implemented a salary continuance program for those who unfortunately might need to be on short-term illness. And as you know, we had a challenge there in terms of a high premium, and we weren't receiving an adequate benefit for what that premium was costing us. And so under this plan, we've eliminated that premium while providing a greater benefit to our employees, and that's something that the employees really appreciate and value. So that's a huge win. We've also implemented the AUMA tax-free saving account and the RSP program. So the Canada Savings Bonds are no longer in existence, and so this provides a alternative 100% employee-funded option for folks to be able to save some money for retirement. Mm-hmm.
So when you have a tax-free savings account or an RSP, and our organization are the ones that are deducting, do the employees, in addition to self-funding, do they pay a service fee for that provision?
There is a management fee for that. It's 1.9%, which is really good. Most of them are around 2%, 2.5%. So one of the benefits is that because it's through the AUMA, we get that bulk discount on it. So it is actually quite a good discount to the employees and great plan. They can choose any fund, based on their risk tolerance and whatnot, as they could with any other institution. It's provisioned through Sun Life, so it's quite a good program.
Do you do any training for staff around that in any of your noon hour lunch?
We do, yes.
Yeah,
Actually,
fantastic.
we did have AUMA and Sun Life were here 2 weeks ago, and so we did a session to employees where we provided them with
It's
that
amazing.
information.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that was really positive. We've also been able to implement Apex and are working on implementing UniSorp. So those are two programs that are also now implemented. And those are really good retention tools for our staff. And we've also have made EFAP, so our Employee Family Assistance Program, is now available to all employees as well as volunteers. So we recognize that the volunteer firefighters could deal with some pretty traumatizing situations, and they didn't have a program before. So now we have something in place so that if they do experience trauma or if they're in a difficult situation, then they have some help, as well as the other benefits that is provided through Homewood. We also have access to leader resources, and we did have a workshop with the management team, and we brought Homewood in, and they were able to provide a really good foundation of the resources that are available. Homewood Health Solutions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is just a quick look at how our new job family shakes out. And on the left is the old structure. I know it's tiny, sorry guys. But one of the things that I do want to point out is there are some codes in the middle, and those give us some efficiency in terms of executing on our payroll. The way that we were doing it before, we would have had 200 codes, and now we brought that down to under 20. So from an efficiency standpoint with payroll, this gives us some big gains. And the job families that align to national occupational and also to other communities. So we've done a lot of work on the benchmarking and make sure that we have some alignment in terms of other organizations. So that is that. And some major achievements in terms of our employment practices. All of our policies have been modernized, and we launched an employee handbook with implementation in last July. It's been very positively received by the employees. There were some policies from 1988. And so it was really good to get those updated and implemented, and we're now compliant with all pieces of legislation from an employment perspective, and employees are really happy about that. It's also done in a way that employees can understand the provisions, and we've done a lot of work in terms of rolling that out and communicating to employees what those changes are, how it affects them. And then they also have a go-to, so that if they have questions, they can go to that, and they know what to expect from us as an employer. And then we've recently made some additional revisions to the handbook to include the implementation of the casual illness and the short-term illness programs. So we moved away from an earning to the salary continuance. And we've also been doing a lot of work on developing strategies for the upcoming cannabis legalization. So Shannon was, I'm not sure if you heard about it on CBC, there was a Cannabis at Work presentation in Calgary. So I sent Shannon to that, and so she was there for 3 days. And they are one of the leading authorities on cannabis legalization in Canada. And so the takeaway from that is drug and alcohol policy that meets human rights as well as protects the organization. So we're working on updating that, and we'll roll that into our handbook and implement it. So we will be ready for when cannabis is legal in Alberta. Some major achievements around the employee communications is that we're we're utilizing the staff portal, which is our internal IT tool. We're using that for registering for the lunch and learns that we've launched, as well as updating that regularly with employee information. So we are finding that that's being utilized a lot more now. And over the past 4 months, we've held 8 lunch and learns, as well as some information sessions around the new program offerings that we have. So I've personally noticed that employees have been very satisfied with the direction that we've moved in, and we've heard a lot of positive feedback and compliments from the staff. So that's my presentation. Any
Thank you very
questions?
much. Questions, Councillor Sobel?
Actually, one question and one comment. Excuse me. So, when we're dealing with, we're talking about our employees, is there a number that you've got at the top of your head that, in regards to the amount of people that we're dealing with that this policy will affect?
Yeah, so this policy affects about 88 permanent staff. And there are some, when we think about sort of our total staff, which is around 140 to 150, depending on the season, the new policies also affect them as well.
Okay. And my comment would be just, you know, this is pretty dry, I think pretty dry stuff for people, and they figure they wonder why this is so important, but you know, I'm here to, you know, and I'm a honest believer and true believer that this saves money, because this avoids civil liability, and it also really adds to employee retention. So I'm just amazed at this and the work that you and your department have done. I think it's you know, if we're not going to look after our employees, then we're in a lot of trouble. And I think this is we've gone a long ways in starting in that direction. Now all we need is a new building for them. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sobel. Deputy Mayor Graychuk.
Thank you, Your Worship. I want to commend you on the great work you've done and the amount of money you've saved the community. I really admire that. And I also iterate, I tell you, you make a very boring job very exciting.
I didn't think it was that boring.
That's the way I take it, sorry.
Thank you.
And I will add one question. One of the areas that I think a lot of businesses fail to do is to assist the employees at an early stage to plan for their retirement. Have you taken that into consideration? Do you have a time frame, an age that you're going to start doing some seminars for people when they approach retirement?
Mm-hmm. So actually, that's a great question. Shannon and I were just discussing about bringing in someone from LAPP, and we'll do some workshops for those who are interested. In terms of the age, anybody who's interested can come and participate in that. Yeah, we don't force anybody to retire. So when they're ready, they can attend a workshop.
Yeah. The sooner you have the information, the better off you are when you retire. And
That's true.
Deputy Mayor Graychuk and I both understand that.
I'll be in that workshop.
Yeah, LAPP should be here. We hope to get them here early, probably Q1 of next year.
Super. Thank you very much. We appreciate the information, and thank you for your success in regards to this and all the work that you and the staff have done. Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Next item on the agenda is 6.5, which is other items, and I guess we'll just go down council and see what kinds of questions they have, if that will work for administration. Good. So, Councillor Walls, you have your light on first.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. To our Director of Infrastructure or Engineering or Department, whatever department he is, he's looking for a little bit of an update, Your Worship, on two questions actually for him. First of all, an update on what's going on with downtown. And second of all, I've noticed there's water pooling on Thomas Drive. I'm just wondering what we're going to do about that, because I remember in the past we've had troubles with water pooling there, and I was told the second lift would take care of that, but there's still water pooling there.
I was unaware of the pooling on Thomas Drive. However, we were caught without cleaning up the leaves with our sweeper. We were planning to do it the week that we got the snowstorm, so a lot of the leaves were put out, but we've been taking the sweeper out this week and starting to clean up a bunch of the areas that we think are going to get most, that were the ponding for that. So that may be the issue, but I will get my operations to look into Thomas Drive for you. For your other question on the downtown, things are going really well. The issue is weather, obviously. We need to have 5 degrees and rising to start paving. So we were planning to have it paved today, but it wasn't 5 degrees and rising. So the new schedule is for Saturday that they were planning to pave. It looks really good that we have, 10, 11, 12 degree days. And so we plan to get both the paving on Saturday. And with that done, I was out there today, they were planting the trees. So things are moving along really well. We have temporary lights up right now. We will have the permanent lights. Fortis is installing those, so we don't have real control over that, but it's supposed to be the end of this month that we're going to have the lights mid to end. They said mid to end month, so it's already mid, so I'm expecting it next couple of weeks that we'll have the lights and basically the project wrapped up.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councillor Walls. Councillor Blokeland.
Thank you, Your Worship. If I can get the director to stay standing up there.
Awesome.
Mark, with some business people downtown, this is a relatively minor issue, but it's a major eyesore with the downtown transforming into a new downtown. They asked me if I would bring this up. If you're familiar with the sidewalk, I'm not good with north, west, east, and south, but it's between McBride's and the shoe store.
McBride's and the shoe store.
On the north side of the old building.
Okay.
Okay, there is 3 areas in the sidewalk, in the existing old sidewalk, where there was trees built into them.
Okay.
There's still 1 tree left standing. It's about 20 feet high. There's a tree stump in another one, and there's weeds in a third one. Yeah, in between McBride's and the shoe store.
That's on the west side.
Well, one blew over in a windstorm this summer. There's still 1 tree left out of the 3. My question is, can we get that tree out of there? And can you guys find 3 more trees that are similar to shape and size as the new ones that are getting put in on Second Avenue now? I think that would really improve that corner moving into the intersection.
For sure, provided that those trees, and I'm.
They're on town property, I'm pretty
assuming
sure.
that they're on town property, that's the only issue that I would have. If they're not on town property, we would need
Well,
owner.
I can understand that, but I'm thinking it's town property.
Okay, well, we'll confirm that, so.
Okay, that was my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Blokeland. Councillor Peterson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was alerted to this issue, I think that initially came up through social media, and then I talked to our CAO about it, and certainly there's no resolution, I was just asking questions. But recently there was a memorandum of understanding signed between the town and the Strathmore Municipal Library, and I defer at any time to Councillor Walls, who's their representative, that and we contracted roughly $400,000 for upgrades to the library. But in that memorandum of understanding, from an oversight on both sides, no money was allocated for furniture. And of course, with the reconfiguration, there will be some needs around that. And while the library certainly has intentions of pitching in, they may need some help with that. So I'm looking for support out of the monies that we borrowed, and into looking for that eventuality in the future. And I certainly ask for input from the Strathmore Municipal Library representative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Peterson. Did you want to answer?
I've got some questions. I've got some more additional information that you may, if you wish. It doesn't matter.
Okay, Councillor Walls.
Go ahead.
No.
I'll defer. Your Worship,
Answer my question.
just a couple more things on that note. We have started fundraising. When we were in negotiations, and I don't know where this actually came from, so it's what the board was told was that the town would take care of the building renovations. the furniture and all the rest, that would be the responsibility of the library. So we, like I said, I'm not sure if that came from our CAO or the representative Jim sitting here, or the gentleman before him, where that actually came from, but that's what the board was told. So we started actively fundraising to get that about $100 and some thousand worth of furniture required to furnish this new facility. So we are looking for some help. We do have some money in reserves. We are trying to build up reserves so we can build our own building and all the rest of that. But, you know, if the town was interested in assisting, we wouldn't turn it away.
Thank you very much, Councillor Walls. Councillor Sobel.
And I've been following this issue as well, and I'm hopeful that the way that this will proceed from here is, should the library require some assistance, that I would hope that it would be dealt with by a business case coming to our, to whatever council sitting here after next week, in order to have a full idea as to, because, you know, I mean, we're talking about $100,000 worth of furniture. That means very little to me. I think a business case is the way to go, and I'm hopeful to see someone, if indeed I'm at the table. Thank you.
Councillor Blockland?
Thank you, Your Worship, and I certainly agree with Councillor Sobel on that statement. Contrary to social media, I am not against the library. I'm not against library expansion. I'm 110% behind the library. My only concern was whether it's 100,000 or 50,000 or whatever the number is, should this not come to a budget meeting in November? That was the only thing I was concerned about. I'm 100% behind the library. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Blockland. Councillor Peterson.
And there's certainly no question about that. I mean, there's nobody sitting behind this table that has not been, I've sat here for 4 years and watched every one of you support the library with pretty consistent increases over the course of 4 years. I guess and you're right, like it has to come from them, it can't come from us. I guess I'm just wanting to encourage it, because I see nothing worse than having a new build and then not having the furniture to put in it, because I don't believe that the current library board has the capacity to do it in the time that they're going to need to do it. I think that's the issue at hand. And I can honestly say, when I went back and read the report, I was surprised that there was no contingency or no application of obligation on the part of someone to put new furniture in. So I certainly support my fellow councillors in saying that it should come as a part of the business plan overall, but I also want to see it up and running in a fashion that behooves the new build. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Peterson. Councillor Walls.
Your Worship, perhaps maybe Mr. Simpson can comment further on this, as he's partly been responsible for this project, if I can use that term loosely. Actually, maybe forced into it might be a better thing. But you know, he was at a board meeting here not that long ago. There was documentation provided to the town from an architect that laid out building costs, and on not only building costs, but also some furniture costs and all the rest of that was part and parcel of that presentation that was made by our architect from the library. Is that correct?
Are you speaking about Todd Williams?
Yeah, Todd, but then the library's architect, we sent some documentation to you guys, the layout, and then there was some furniture in that, included in that quote and all the rest of that.
That was before Jim was here.
Oh, yeah, it was before your
Okay,
time,
I'm
so you may
sorry,
not know that.
I hadn't seen that. And so I'm afraid that I don't have a whole lot to add, other than I heard what you had heard, and I'm not sure who said it, but it was like, the town was going to look after the renovation, and the library was to look after the furniture and equipment that was required in there. I wish this meeting was tomorrow night, because tomorrow Todd Williams, the project manager, and I are meeting, and he's bringing me sort of a budget aspect, or a budget to where we're at with the budget. And if there's a possibility that we're under, then possibly, please don't hold me to it, but possibly the $350,000 that the library threw into the pot. There may be some of that money left, okay? But please don't hold me to it. I'll know tomorrow. I'll know a lot more tomorrow when he presents that to me. So.
And, Your Worship, just one final comment. I've been very impressed with Mr. Simpson and the town's representative Todd. They've been extremely knowledgeable. They've been very good. James, you've done a very good job of appointing the right people to help us get the job done. So thank you very much to your staff for the hard work that they've done. They've taken this project very seriously. They've been in there. I know they've been meeting. Todd's been in there with his hard hat on, apparently. I'm not there myself, but I know they've taken a real vested interest, and it means quite a bit from the library's point of view. So thank you very much.
And certainly I can't take a whole lot of credit, but Todd should get a lot of credit for what he's done in there. He's fantastic. I really appreciate working with him as a project manager, and I'm the project leader, but he makes my job really easy. So most of that credit goes to Todd Williams. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Todd's been great, and the staff, everybody's chipped in when we need to. Everybody's lent in when they had to, so all our staff have been really great. Trent and Mark chipped in, everybody did what they had to do at the time, so great.
And Your Worship, are we still on for the November?
Absolutely, yes.
Still right on schedule?
It is still on schedule, yes. He finished the end of October, and the anticipation is that the library will start moving and maybe possibly be open around the middle to the third week of November.
Amazing.
With a possible opening early December, grand opening.
That's correct, yeah.
Good. Thank you very much for the information. Was there anybody else that had a question or discussion item?
No.
Administration? Sir? No? There's nothing further? We don't have to rise and report on anything at this point? We've done everything else? You have one item?
Just one rising report.
Which one? Is that one?
Just to receive the HR plan recommendations and just to adopt the report, please.
Okay.
I'd move to rise and report, Your Worship.
Okay, we have a motion to rise and report. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And the motion, please.
I would move to accept the HR plan as presented.
Thank you very much. Discussion? Councillor Walls? Nothing, okay, thank you. No, you don't, not yet.
Appreciate the sharpness of the
Yeah.
motion.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor? Carried. And one other item?
Allowed to slap people at your last meeting?
Yes, we are. We have one other item, and administration, if you would be so kind, show that the mayor has vacated the chair. The deputy mayor will be taking over the chair. And I wish to make a motion. I move to adjourn.
Question? All in favor?
He gets to ask.
All in favor?
Well done.